It is Book Review Sunday, episode 3 for this Sunday, and it is our final episode of the day. I will officially be caught up with all of my book reviews. And just like the other two episodes, this one I am reviewing two books for. And this first book I'm going to be reviewing is an exciting review for me because it is my first time being what's called an ARC reader. ARC stands for Advanced Reader Copy, and it's when an author has a new book coming out and they want to have early reviews up before the book is available for the general public. And so they use different book distribution websites like Book Sirens or Book Funnel to then pull some early readers in to read the book ahead of time and then provide an early review. And I got to be an early reviewer for, oh man, that was not as climactic as I wanted it to be because I clicked the wrong button. For Stoneheart by Kitty Shields. So, Stoneheart is about, it's a historical fiction. It's a sweet romance. It's about our main character is named Edward, and he has literally broken the heart of his love interest, Phoebe, and he has to go on an adventure to put her heart back together so that she can stay alive. I give Stoneheart 4 stars. My number one favorite thing about the story is that it is a combination of history and magic, which are my two favorite things. I do read a lot of historical fiction, and not a lot of historical fiction that I have read ends up having real magic in it, and this one did. And I loved that. And it was the perfect amount. And I actually have an in-depth interview tomorrow on my blog with the author on how she put this all together. So tomorrow, head on over to my blog, www.chelseamortega.com, to check out that interview with Kitty Shields. We have a show-stealing sidekick named Tilton. You know those characters where you go to the movies and you walk out saying that side character stole the show. This is Tilton. He is at the begin it seems to be just this random character who's only going to be with Edward for his ship journey from England to the European continent. And then Tilton just ends up following him along for the rest of the journey. And another great thing about Tilton's character is that he appears to just be there for comedic relief. He's young, he's silly, he has delusions of grandeur, but he actually has a really sweet and compassionate distribution under all that silliness. And that is going to help drive Edward to finish his hero's journey when all seems lost. And then the last thing that I want to compliment Kitty Shields on is this perfect weaving of different point of views. So Edward is our main character, and the majority of the book is from his point of view. But every once in a while, we get a chapter from someone else's point of view so that we can see these different side plots all folding into Edward's main plot. And before I pressed record, I did a quick count, and I'm pretty sure there are 8. And now that I said that, I think there actually might be 9 or 10 different side characters' point of views that we get to experience throughout the book. And that's a lot to weave together seamlessly and to make it work, so that we really feel like we're in that new character's head. And Kitty does it perfectly. It was absolutely amazing. And I do wish that there had been more page time with Edward and Phoebe, as they are the love interest couple. And but that doesn't make this book bad. I still think that you should read it, and I plan on reading the sequel. And I think it's more of my expectations when I went into the book, um, because it's a sweet romance. I expected to see a lot of Edward and Phoebe interaction. And but I realized getting to the end that the focus is on Edward's journey. It's on his physical journey to save Phoebe, but it's also a journey of his heart to learn to accept the kind of love that the different people in his life can give him. And so it is a different type of romance than what I normally read. And so I did have to get my brain in that headspace while I was reading it. But from what I usually prefer from a romance, I would have loved more interaction between Edward and Phoebe. But as a story by itself, it's amazing. This is a wonderful, wonderful um, story of friendship, love, and magic. The second book I'm going to review for this third and final episode is Alcatraz Bride by Anne Burroughs Ebb. And this is not fiction. This is a nonfiction memoir. So the author, Anne, lived on Alcatraz Island for 3 years in her teenage years. Her dad was, excuse me, her dad was one of the guards in the later years of the island, before it shut down. And she lived her final years of high school on the island, and she would meet her husband on the docks. So her husband is not one of the guards. He's not one of the inmates. He was just a San Francisco resident who was driving on the docks and saw her and became intrigued. Why is this beautiful young woman about to get on a boat to go to Alcatraz? So I give this book 4 stars. And I really liked this view of Alcatraz with young eyes. I have toured the island twice, and both times the focus is on the prison itself and the inmates, and then there is a small section about the um, little while after the prison closed down that there was the Native American occupation. And so there's nothing about the guards or their families. And I would later learn while reading her book that part of that, I think one of the reasons why the current museum and tour aspect of the island doesn't include a lot of information on that is because the apartments that the guards and their families lived in uh, burned down during the Native American occupation. And so there just isn't really anything there for us to go look at. Her memoir did a good job of showing everyday life for the families of the guards. There was a women's club that her mother was a part of. They had kind of a activities hall for the kids and the families to hang out at, and there were games there and a soda fountain. She really did experience a normal teenage life, even though she lived on an island that housed notorious prisoners. And then something I didn't know about, that I learned in the book is that those who have lived on the island at any point while it was open, so really the children of the guards, at this point is they have a Alcatraz Alumni Association, and they are a nonprofit organization. They get together, but they also help fund certain aspects of keeping the island up and running. And I would have loved if she expanded her stories to create a full-length novel. It's very, very short. It's less than 100 pages. And as I was reading it, I could see, little stuff that she mentioned and listed that I would have loved if she extended those into several paragraphs of story. And with each of those things that she listed, could have turned into a full-length novel, and I would have inhaled that novel. It's still great the way it is. It was really fun to learn about her and learn about what life was like for um, the guards' families. And I'm sure you can order it on Amazon. I got it in the gift shop at my last visit to Alcatraz. So if you like history and you like romance and you like magic, check out Stoneheart by Kitty Shields. It releases in a week and a half, August 16th. And if you like memoirs and autobiographies, check out Alcatraz Bride. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so that you can be the first to receive notifications of new videos, and I will see you next Sunday.